Hey, how's it going, folks? I'm Savior here, and we are back with another video, or should I say, another deck profile, as I'll be showing you a law deck profile that I recommend. But again, if you guys want to make some changes, you may go right ahead. Uh, this deck profile was also made by a buddy of mine, which I will mention him at the end of the video. So hopefully you guys enjoy this deck profile. So obviously we have Law. Law is our, meta leader. There are other leaders that are good as well, but Law is basically strong, and he can obviously shambles, which is his ability, his lead effect. Obviously, take a red card and then replace it with a green card, or take a green card, replace it with a red card, but it has to be a 5 cost or less. No exceptions. But it's a very good leader card, or deck, should I say? Lead effect. It's amazing. I'm enjoying it. This is basically the post ban deck profiles right now. I was using this deck at my locals recently, and I mean it did pretty well even against the Whitebeards and the Aces that are still running the 4 radical beams in their deck and all that. So, but let's get to it. So we'll just leave our law right here, and then we'll start off with the 1 costs. We gotta love our 1 costs. So obviously the first 1 cost is Nami. You're always gonna run 4 Namis. So Nami Searcher, definitely important. You gotta love our Searcher. So very good card. Definitely recommend running 4. Very good. And then we have our other Searcher, Bonnie. Bonnie is our other Searcher, which you can use this to obviously search out the laws or the supernovas, depending on the supernovas in your deck. It's up to you. Same thing with Nami, but obviously you can only take Straw Hat types, not Supernovas. So these are your 2 searchers. That's very important. So it's very best to keep these searchers alive. If you play them and you have a way to bounce them back out of the field with the Law ability or with the anything else, such as a Law Blocker ability, which I'll get to that pretty soon, then that's perfect because then you can obviously replay them and then search again. With the Bonnie, obviously you can replay, but you have to waste another Dawn, unfortunately. But mostly you want to do the Nami because obviously if you bounce the Nami back and then you replay her, you can basically search, and that's pretty good. So if you do have a chance to swing with Nami, then you can. And if she's gonna sort of like not get KO'd by anything, then swing with her and then do the bouncing and then bring her back and then replay her. Or you just want to bring her back just for a 1K counter and then play a card that's not a 1 or 2K counter at all. So, but these are searches. Very good. And then we have more Nami, which is our ST Nami. I call her ST Nami. She obviously gives a rested Dawn to herself or anyone else that's on the field. It has to be a Dawn that's rested though. If the Dawn is obviously on the leader itself, say you swing 6 with Law, and then you have the Nami board and you want to use the effect, but you have no rested Dawn, then you can't use the effect because you cannot take the Dawn out from the leader or the character. It has to be rested. So obviously, if I were to rest 1 to play Nami and have rested Dawn, then you can use your effect, and then boom, there you go. You can swing with 6. So that's how basically the card works. So it's a very good card. I enjoy it. I do recommend this card. I run 2. If you want to run 3, that's fine, but I usually run 2 for now. It's not very bad, so very good 1 cost. And a 1K counter as well. Next is our little raccoon. I know it's not a raccoon. Chopper. 1 cost, 1K blocker. He's our blocker. Obviously, if you have a card that's a 1K like Nami Searcher or what's it called? Oh, a Bonnie Searcher, and then you want to bounce it back to your hand to keep as a 1K or for later on, then if you have a Bonnie Searcher you already used, then bounce it back and then just play the Chopper. It's good because then you have a 1K counter back to your hand and a Searcher, and then you play the Chopper, which does not have no 1K counter. He's a 1 cost though, so definitely do that if you can. So play the Chopper if you have to shambles the Chopper in, but very good card. So that was it. So, and then our next card obviously would be what's it called? Would be Makino. I'm only running 2. Usually, a lot of players run 4 or 3. I'm giving 2 a try, but again, if you want to run 3 or 4, you may. I really don't mind. So it's up to you. If you want to run 3, 4, no, but I'm running 2 for now. Obviously, you can use it with ST Nami, uh, or Search Nami. If you want to use it with Chopper, you can, but that's only if you're gonna go for a game or you have to. But obviously, never use this with Chopper. Obviously, never swing with Chopper, unless you have no other choice. Unless that's the only way to, like, you have Chopper and then the Makino hand, then you have no more swings, and then you can swing for a game. Then go ahead, but obviously, never swing with Chopper unless you're gonna end the game. But Makino good, 2K counter, very good to use. I love playing her. Sometimes you can just play her and then just pass turn. Hopefully they don't KO it, so you can have a board on the field. Because once you have 5 cards, and that's when you can start using your effect and then making plays, and then that's throws your opponent off. So yep. So 2 Makinos, we keep that. Next we're gonna be running is our favorite Otama. We're running 4 Otamas. Otama is a 2K counter, and obviously you can -2 to your opponent's characters if they can be KO'd. Good card to use for Shambles because you obviously tap 1, play the Otama, and then minus a character that's on their board, and then swing with your lead or active character you have, depending on the situation. For example, if they have a Rush Zoro and it's rested, you want to get rid of it, but you want to make it weak. So tap 1, play the Otama. Only play it if the Otama is the last card to play, and then you have a full 5 on the board. You could do 4 as well if you are guaranteed you're going to play another 1 cost and then Shambles. So you play Otama minus Zoro, and then you just swing 5 at it, or 6, or swing 3 with a 3 cost, or swing with a Search Nami at a Dawn, and then obviously they have to waste a card, or they'll let it die. But if you swing with Leader for 5 or even 6, then obviously they'll most likely let it die because they got to pitch 2 cards, or an event, depending on the situation. So, but Otama, very good card. I love it. So 2K counter, 1 cost. So very good to use. Our next card, which now we're on our way to our 2 costs, is Dadan. So we're gonna have 4 Curly Dadans. It's another searcher card. Only thing is, you can only search for 1 cost of red cards. That 1 cost red cards only. You can't do more than 1 cost, and it has to be character. So very good card, 1K counter, and then it's a 3K. So like I said with the Otama, if you wanna swing, what's it called? Play Otama minus the Zoro or anything that's a 5, and then they're 3 or 4, and then you can use Curly Dadan to swing 3 for 3, or 4 to 3, or 5 to 3, or 5 to 4, or 4 for 4. So it's up to you, or again, it depends on the situation. So make sure you yeah. So Dadan, very good, very good card. I love it. Next we have our favorite singer, Brook. I'm only running 3 Brooks. People usually run like 4 or 3 or 2. It depends really. I've seen 2 Brooks, 3 Brooks, 4 Brooks. I'm running 3, used for a 2K counter. He's also good to play early game because if you want to just swing, say you play a Dadan first turn, and then once it's your turn again, you have a Brook. You play Brook, put 2 down on Dadan, and then you swing for 5, and then you swing 5 with your leader. So it's very good. It's a good card. You can also put it on Brook and then swing 7, or it depends. You want to put it on somebody else. You want to use your rested Dawn, so. Or you want to play Brook as your last card of 5, so you can Shambles, and then put a Dawn on someone as active, so you can swing. So very good card. It's very good for 2K counter as well. So definitely 2K counter. Good card. Good card. Good card. So 3 Brooks. And then our next card is what's it called? Killer. I'm running 2 killers this deck. I mean, people usually run 2 killers, 3 killers, or no killers at all. I'm running killer because 1K counter, and if you have more than 2 characters, well, you need 3, but him included, then you just put a Dawn, and then you can just block and get a free draw if they don't KO it, like with Vista or Jet Pista, or depending on the deck. You can also use ST Nami. So say you play a killer for 2 and you have no Dawn left, but you haven't used ST Nami's ability, and then you take the rest of Dawn and just put it on killer, and then boom, there you go. You have a free draw if they don't get KO'd. So very good card. Enjoy 1K counter. You can also use it to bounce back a red card as well for shambles in case you have to, and then again, it's very good. Sometimes I did play the killer without a Dawn as well. In some situations, it worked out because I need that one Dawn, and then I turn the game around or I win. So it depends, but very good card. Definitely add a Dawn on him, but if there's a situation where you need that one Dawn for an event or something else, then you don't have to. Just play him. He's a blocker, and then just block with him if you have to. So you can definitely make different plays with this card. So, but yeah, 2 killers. Love it. And then we have her 3 costs now, and this is one of my favorite cards, Nico Robin. So I'm running 3 Robins, very strong card, card that I would like to defend. I defend this card a lot against most decks because if any deck plays uh, a 5,000 power or less, then I have the advantage to use Robin. I can use the Robin Otama combo. Say I have Robin on the field already, she can swing the turn you're about to play, and then you play an Otama minus their 5k to a 3, and then just swing a Robin, and then boom, you swing at lead or whoever you want to swing at and KO the other person. If you have an ST Nami, then obviously I play the Otama, and then boom, use the ST Nami ability. You have the rest of Dawn, and then just swing at whoever, and then KO whoever's a 3 cost or less. So very good card. I enjoy it. I love this card. It's very powerful. It's a 1K counter as well. I love to defend this card a lot, but if I can't defend it, then I let her die. That's fine. If the opponent invests so much to kill the Robin, then just let the Robin die. But if they invest so much and you know that they're not done, they're not. My mistake. You know that they're officially done. Like they just swung at Robin, and then they have nothing else to do. You know there's nothing else they can do. Then if you have enough to protect the Robin, then go right ahead. But don't use all your cards in your hand, or don't use too much. Just use a little. If they use a lot to get rid of the Robin, but you can only use like 1 card, maybe 2 to save her, then be my guest, go right ahead. It's a 50-50. But if not, then just let her die, which is good because your opponent did so much to get rid of just 1 card, and you still have like 3 characters on the field, and then they pass turn, and then you do your next turn. So very good card. I enjoy it. So hopefully, whoops, what's it called? So sorry about that, but yeah, hopefully you defend the Robin. Good, really good card. I enjoy this card. So 3 Robins. You can run 3, 4, 2. It's right up to you. So yeah. And then we have our another card that's important. It's a Rush Zoro. I run 3 Rush Zoro. So you can run 3 or 4. Obviously 3 or 4 are the best. Running 2 is not really good. But 3 or 4, I usually run 3. Most law decks run 3, and then some run 4. But I run 3. It's a very good card. You can rush, or you can just play it and just pass turn. It depends on the situation. Half the time I swing, and then half the time I don't swing. But when I don't swing it, I just play it. Then usually half the time it will survive, or half the time it won't survive the round, and I lost a swinger. But at least it puts the opponent pressure to use a lot of Dawn, or a lot of things that they can do with the Dawn or their leader to KO the Zoro. It's for early game though, obviously. If it's late game, then yeah, you just might as well swing for it, because what if they gets KO and you just lost a 5k and you wasted 3 Dawn, or 2 if he shambles. So, but definitely a card to play. And most likely not swing early game. But then if you want to swing, go right ahead. It depends on your play style. I do 50-50. I swing or I don't swing. So if I play it early, I'll most likely not swing. But then maybe I'll swing. Again, it depends. It's your play style. So 3 Zoros, a really good card. And yeah, so that's 3 Zoros. That's our 3 cost. All right, now we're going to our 4 cost, which is my only 4 cost, is 3 Film Brooks. Now with this Brook, I've recently tried it. It's not bad because when I have 4 Dawn or more, I play the Brook, and it allows me to play a Straw Hat or Film type of character. So I mostly play the Zoro or the Nico Robin. That's basically who you want to play with this Brook, because you have 2 characters on the field, 2 swingers, even if it's Robin, you still have another swinger because then next turn you obviously going to swing with Robin unless you want to keep it alive. But with Zoro, perfect because you play Brook and then Zoro, and then you can swing with Zoro, and then obviously you have this 5k swinger that you'll swing wins your next turn. Or just play the Brook and the Zoro and then just pass turn. Let's say you already have two characters that are 5k swings that are going to attack your opponent the following turn. Then if it's early game, then obviously your opponent will try to get rid of the Zoro at least or the Brook, one or the other. They can't do both unless they use a card like Fire Fist. Then obviously they can't. If they minus one of them and then Fire Fist, then yeah, that sucks. But then other than that, there's either they get rid of one of them or they just can't do anything at all, and then they got to prepare for the two swings because you obviously want to swing with the Brook and then the Zoro in following turn, or just play Brook, swing with Zoro, and then if you want to defend the Zoro, you can. If not, you can let it die. But then you have Brook obviously for the next turn. But very good card. I do like it. So very good to play Brook into Zoro or Brook into Nico Robin. It depends on the situation. And he's a 1k counter as well. So very good card. So if you want to try him out, go ahead. I run 3, so I enjoy it. Alright, now we go to our 5 costs, and this is the main star of this deck, is Blocker Law. Blocker Law is very, very strong and very good. He's a blocker, and he's a 5/6, and obviously you can make plays with this Law ultimates, or not ultimate, his effect. So basically what you do is you shambles, you take a red card, and then that's a 5 cost or less, and then replace it with Law. And then once you play Law, and then you can take any card that's on the field back to your hand, and then you can play a 3 cost or less, red or green. So you can basically make plays. You can shambles the Nami, and then you can play the Law, and then shambles somebody else that's rested, like say a Bonnie or the Dan. Someone that's rested is perfect, better than active, unless it's a Nami. And then you take the rested the Dan, let's say, and then you replay the Nami, and boom, you search again, which is pretty good. It's also good to play Nami for your 5th card, and then you shambles, and then you play the Law. No, you take the Nami back, you play the Law, and then you take any other card that you want to take back to your hand. Do prefer the rested, and then replay the Nami, and then boom, you have another search. You search twice in one with one card basically. You search twice. It depends though if you want to do it right away. If you have less cards, then maybe most likely you want to do it right away. But if you have like a decent amount of cards in hand, then you obviously play Nami, search, and then do what you want, and then shambles. Hopefully, you'll still have 5 cards in your field, 5 characters, because you never know if you play Nami and then whoever you have in your field, you swing, and then they end up KOing one of your 1 costs, and then boom, you're back to 4 characters. Then you gotta play another 1 cost, or worst case scenario, just play Law. Even though it's 5 down, it's gonna suck. But yeah, but this is the star. Also good for swinging as well. If you have like 2 Laws on field and you have like a 1 cost chopper, or you have a decent amount of cards in hand and a 1 cost chopper blocker, or you got a killer as well, then you have these 2 Laws that you can swing. You obviously swing with both of them, most likely. Definitely swing with one. Don't be afraid to swing with the Law blocker. Before I was afraid, but again, don't be afraid to swing with Law. It's helpful, especially if you have a restand Law, which I will be getting to that right away. So let me leave this Law right here, and then we'll go to the other Law, which is another 5/6. The cool thing about this Law is that he's a 1k counter, so you can use it for a 1k counter, but obviously you don't want to use this Law as a 1k counter unless you have to, because you would need him for a restand. So for this guy, he restands Hard Pirate and Supernova. So if you were to swing with this Law for, say, they have 1 life left, and then you have this Law swinger, and they have like a decent amount of cards, but not much, and then you want to swing for 10, obviously, and you have 5 opponents in your field, they take the life because, what's it called? Or they take the life, and then you play the restand Law as you shambles him in. You don't play 5, you shambles, take a red card, replay Law, and then you want to restand and swing again for 10, and then you can go for game, or they pitch a lot of cards to survive that turn. But regardless, if you have swingers on the field, then obviously you want to swing with them first and then the restand Law, because then they got to pitch cards to defend themselves, and then after, that's when you attach at least like 2 Dawn on him, or 3, and then swing for 9, and then shambles if you have 5 cards in field, which most likely you will, unless you're playing like smoker or something, and then they get a shockwave from life, then that's gonna suck. Then if you have a 1 cost, 2 cost, just play the card. Even if it's no Otama and you literally need 5 cards to shambles, just play the Otama and just say minus any character in the field. It doesn't matter because you want to shambles, and then play the restand law, and then you restand and swing again for 9, and then you'll win the game, unless they have a lot of cards. So, whoops, camera. So if they have a lot of cards in hand, then maybe you get it, maybe you won't. Hopefully they're non 1K 2K counters, but yeah. But these are like the stars of the what's it called, of the deck, is both laws, the restand and the blocker law. So very important. You definitely need to run 4 of each, 100%. Some people run like 3 of him instead of 4. I tried it. It's alright, but it's definitely good to run 4. But if you want to try 3, again, change your playstyle, go right ahead. It's up to you. But this is my playstyle. That's my playstyle. Alright, well, that's it for all the characters. Now we're going to go to the, what's it called? To the events. What's it called? First off, we're gonna start off with I run 2 Sabawadi events. It's basically a searcher. You get a Straw Hat type, and then put the rest in the bottom in any order. So if you get it from Trigger, that's cool because then you can obviously get a free card from what's it called? From your deck. Definitely play it off Trigger. Don't just hold it because there's no point of holding it because you're gonna have to end up wasting a dawn if you just hold it. Unless your opponent's swinging for life and you want to take this card and then you want to bluff them, saying you have an extra 1K or 2K, but you don't, then be my guess. But if your opponent's not swinging for game and you know they're not going to, then obviously play this off Trigger so you can get an extra card. Maybe you have an extra 1K or a 2K that can save your character or save you from losing. So it's right up to you. It's up to you. Like, really, it's up to you. So I run 2 of these. Put that there. And then, obviously, I run 1 Radical Beam. Having 1 Radical Beam is not bad. I've seen law players who run 1, 2, maybe 3 Radical Beams. But obviously, due to the card restrictions, you can only run 1 in the deck. And running 1 is still good. It's not bad. So having 1 Radical Beam is pretty good. So definitely run 1 Radical Beam, but if you want to, that's fine. But it's definitely good to run 1. So most law players run 1 or 2, and some run 3. So, but I think 3 is too much. And then our last event is Guard Point. I'm giving Guard Point a try. It's not bad. It's pretty good in some situations, especially if they swing a 8 at the blocker law that's rested. Then you can use Guard Point to give it plus 3,000, and then obviously it'll go 9 and then he survives. So remember, Guard Point is an 8 and then Radical is a 2. If you have 2 or less life, it's a 4. So you have a 4 and then a 3, or a 2 and a 3. But obviously you want to use this card when you're at 2 life or less. Never use this card if you're at more than 2 life. Never ever, because it's best to just have the extra plus 2,000 when you're at 2 life. Plus you might need this card to survive the end game. So definitely use this card at 2 life or less. Never use it at more than 2 life. Never. And then Guard Point is always 3. And then their triggers are not bad. They give you a extra 1K for the leader or character. I know Radical does. Does Guard Point do? Yep, Guard Point as well. So they both basically do. So, but you never want to use their trigger card when you get it. So if this is like your last life, but you have 1 Dawn left, then just don't use the trigger. Just keep it. But if you have no Dawn, this is from life, then obviously just if they're gonna keep swinging, then obviously play the card so you can your leader could be a 6K, so they'll have to add another Dawn, or maybe you'll throw them off and change the game. So if they're swinging for game, if you know they are, then obviously just play it, and then you get that plus 1,000 to help out a bit, or definitely help you out at all. But if you have a Dawn and they're swinging for game, then don't use the triggers. Just keep it, and then it will definitely help out. So definitely help out. So yeah, these are events I go for. But yeah, that's basically it. These are all the cards I run on my law deck. Hopefully you guys enjoy this deck list profile. If you have any questions, let me know. If you wanna what's it called? If you want to change it up, you may go right ahead. If you want to recommend anything, then let me know in the comments. I'll definitely give it a try out as well. I don't mind taking any, again, suggestions, or you have any questions. Again, just let me know. This is my law deck profile that I'm basically running. It's done well at the locals. I did try it at my recent local. Surprisingly, did pretty well against the pre-post card restrictions. I was still going against a few decks that were still using like 4 rad beams, 3 rad beams, and then got like the 2, 3 new gates, and then the Marcos. It didn't do too bad. It survived. I would have won, but obviously the new gate or other certain cards it's that one card that just makes the opponent just turn the game around to where you didn't get the game, GG. But yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. Shout out to a buddy of mine, Jules Senpai. He provided me this deck profile. He's a very good law player as well, and we love doing a mirror match together. So be sure to check him out. I'll be putting his social link into the description below. And don't forget to subscribe, guys, and I'll talk to you guys later. Goodbye.